Hi, I'm Dr. Ernesto, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to exterminate pests in your house like a professional. Okay, so first let's talk about what doesn't work. So I've been a landlord and I've been managing units for like over 20 years now. I've run into everything. So I'm going to teach you how to kill rats, mice, bed bugs, roaches, pretty much most of the common stuff you're going to run into, ants, etc. First, just keep in mind that whatever you can buy in Lowe's, Home Depot, or one of those hardware stores is not going to work. It's garbage. It's pretty much going to only work if you spray it directly on the insect, and that's it. And you're pretty much just throwing your money away. I've learned that many times. I've had lots of tenants say, oh, I've got spiders, I got bed bugs, and they go in, they spend all this money and it doesn't work. A lot of times the workers that are there, when you talk to them, they're honest. They'll even tell you it doesn't work. So don't waste your money. Now I'll give you some examples. There's this stuff. This is a common spray you buy. It's about 10 bucks and it says it lasts 12 months of insect control. That's not going to happen. You're going to spray the insect that's going to work to kill them. But these end up costing you a lot more money. I'm going to explain to you why. Diatomaceous earth, yeah, it's good for the environment. It's safe, but it's not going to work. It's going to work for small doses. If you see one cockroach or two or something, maybe it might work. But overall, it's not going to work. It'll probably work for preventative if you leave it there. There's a lot of this other stuff like foggers. Total waste. They're not strong enough. You can put this in to kind of clear everything out. It'll kill everything probably, but everything will be born within a few hours, and maybe a few days you'll be back to where you started again. So it doesn't really work. There's like these combat. These are really highly ranked online for like roaches. They don't work. I've tried these ant bait sticks for taro. I mean, I have a whole shed full of these different poisons I've tried. They don't work. These old school mouse traps, they do work. These are great, but you're only going to take care of one, and they're kind of nasty. You gotta clean these off. This one's full of guts and hair and stuff from animals that have been killed, so they're not the most pleasant, but they are very effective. So if it's just one or two mice or a rat or something, I'll get these. Make sure you get the right size. This is a rat trap. This is a big one. If you put these rat traps in, what will happen is the mice will come in. They're able to actually eat the cheese or the peanut butter or whatever you put on there. And that's what I recommend. Use just peanut butter. I put peanut butter on here. They'll come right through and they'll eat it. And you'll be like, damn, why are they eating it? It's a mouse. They're too small. So they have the small ones for mice and the big ones for rats. If you get a small trap and then you get a rat stuck in there, he's going to probably take off with your mouse trap. You're going to say, what happened to my mouse trap? So make sure you size them up properly. And it's probably good to get both of them. They're pretty easy to set. You just have to be careful. You just flip it up like that and put this under and then put some food on there, and that's it. And it's pretty easy. So these are pretty effective. Now, what do the pros use? Okay. Well, you notice I'm wearing gloves. When you're handling all this stuff, buy gloves. In fact, buy some good, I'm wearing gardening gloves just for now because I'm not actually spraying. But you want to get really good, thick gloves like this. These are PVC coated. These are so that nothing soaks through. It's going to help protect you so you don't get cancer or have hormone problems or stuff like that. You don't want these chemicals in your body. Plus, if you leave your scent on these things, the rats or the mice, they won't touch them. So they're not as effective. So you want to make sure that you're using something like this so you keep your scent off the traps here. So what does a professional use? Well, they use these boxes here. This is an example of one. It closes up like that. You see the hole there. But basically you want the mouse to be able to come in through here. They eat the poison that you set. And it just so happens I ordered this huge green bucket and they sent me pellets. They were supposed to send me little bars, but you get the little bars, you set them on here and you slide these down. Now, why are the bars better? Because the rats or the mice will come in and chew on them to try to get what they can, and then they have to ingest it before they leave. If you get these little pellets, what I found, a lot of it gets wasted. What they do is one mouse or rat will keep taking them, and they'll take them back and they'll store them like in their nest. It might be good because if there's other rats or mice or babies or whatever, they'll eat and they'll die also. But a lot of times one mouse, you know, if they just ate a little bit, they'd be dead in 2-3 days. That's about how long it takes for this stuff to take effect. But otherwise, for 2-3 days, you're putting poison and they're stockpiling it. So you end up wasting a lot of poison. So I recommend you buy the blocks. Just buy the cheapest one, but buy something like this. These are pretty good. And what I like about them is, if they're the professional ones, they come with a key. And if you're a landlord, if you have kids at your property, something like that, it's just better to use, see that, it snaps shut. It's better to use these because you don't want liability. You don't want people saying, you know, they ate the poison and they're gonna sue you or something like that. So this is the best way to eradicate mice or rats. Now, the other thing is you have to cover the holes. That's actually probably the most important thing. Look around your house. I'm going to show you a video here. Now, when you're trying to prevent mice or rats getting into your house, probably the most important step is to make sure you cover all the holes outside your building. This is an old building here, so you'll see there's a lot of like little boards like this out of place. Those are because we covered small holes. See these pieces of wood there? Those are small openings. All they need is 1/4 of an inch to squeeze into your house. So only their skull has bone and the rest of it is like cartilage. So even if they're big, like they're 3 inches wide, they can, like kind of like a slinky, make their body real thin and they can come in. You can see here where we put all this wood in. I'm going to show you where they were going into the house. Now, before I get to that, here's the rat box. Mice, they're running along the building here. We've seen them. And that's usually where they run anyway because they like to be out of view. So you want to face the holes along the wall there so that the mice or the rats will run into it and they'll eat and then they'll come out, you know, the other side. So you want to make sure they're there. And then we had seen some over there, so I have them all along the buildings there. See that? Now, in terms of this heater here, the rats like to hang out here. So if you look up on that pipe there, you see how it's kind of dark and dirty? It looks like it's dusty or it's shade, but it's actually not. That's actually oil from the rats. So if you see the paint, it's all yellow. And just there, along with the pipe, it's black and gray. So what they did a few nights ago, they went up there. They're always trying to get in. They chewed through that foam. They sell that stuff at Home Depot and Lowe's. It's kind of like crack filler. And they got into the house and they were going nuts. You could hear them all night, chewing on wires and wood and everything else. And they actually caused a short last time. So we went through, we started covering everything. Saw the wire and the wood. And what you got to do is this time around, when we covered up that pipe, we did it a little bit differently. What you do is you stuff it with steel wool, and then you stuff it and you spray with that crack filler. That way they can't chew through it. If you just put like this, just regular foam, they're gonna chew through that. So you wanna make sure you put foam inside of the wire. So put like steel wool so they can't get in. So here's another spot we found where they're coming in. Again, you just kind of want to walk around the building and you want to see if you see any dark patches. So up here in this corner, if you look closely there, you see that? Right there in the middle, that part, that black part there, that dusty looking part, that's oil from the outside of the body of the mouse or the rat. They leave those trails wherever they've been getting into your house. So you just have to walk around the house and you'll see some of those. And what we found were some big openings there. So you see the steel wool there. We stuffed it with steel wool and then we put the foam in. And the same thing up there. You can still see the steel wool sticking out of there. And then we put foam so that they can't get in. Now you can cut that with the razor blade. It doesn't look so ugly, and then paint over it. But you know, the big thing is you want to prevent the mice, the rats from getting in. You know, and then there were some more obvious holes like that. That's way too much. You got to make sure they don't get into the house. Otherwise, it's game over. And they get cold at night, so believe it or not, they love these heaters. So we seal them all up, all along the edges with silicone so they can't get in. And then wherever there's like big openings, we put pieces of wood or foam with steel wool, you know, just so they can't get into the water heater. Because we find a lot of droppings over by the water heaters. They like to go in there and hang on at night when it's cold. Again, they're mammals, so they're just like us. They like, you know, cold when it's hot and hot when it's cold. Look at that. Okay, so this is gonna kill everybody out. Running all over the walls and everything. Look at that. They're all over. There's like, look at all those bodies and stuff. So usually roaches, las cucarachas, but roaches are usually, they like to hide. So if they're coming out, running out all over, that means that there's so many roaches. Look at that. They're all up in the pipes there. That means that they filled up all the crevices and they're just like overflowing. They have nowhere else to go. Okay, so basically you just want to make sure that you walk around the outside your house and look for little dark spots. It looks like dust and you're like, wow, why is there dust all along that little trail? It's not dust, it's oil from the body of the rodent. So you want to make sure you find all those access points around the house and you seal them off. If you have crawl space underneath your house, make sure there's no holes in the screen, make sure you have a screen, make sure everything's closed off. In my kitchen, a mouse actually chewed right through my screen on my window. He left a perfect circle. He ruined it. And he got into my house. He was running around so I could catch him. He actually brought some of his friends. I ended up catching like 7 of them, like in 3 days with the mouse traps I just showed you. So you just want to make sure everything's screened up and everything's covered. Now, in terms of bed bugs. Now, bed bugs are a real pain. I made another video about bed bugs where I go into detail. But basically they're pretty much indestructible, okay? They can live for years, they can hibernate for months. They don't need food or water for months. If they don't have a food source, they'll just go to sleep. So, and they only die in extreme temperatures, like in Antarctica or something. So they're not gonna die just regular weather. Now, they're very difficult. I've had them in apartments, I had them at my mom's house. I tried literally for years to get them at my mom's house. It was very hard. I spent a lot of money on a lot of, you know, poisons and everything. There's 2 things that I found. One is this stuff. It's called Transport. And this stuff you can use for roaches, ants, pretty much everything. I'm going to show you how you use this right now. And the other one I like a lot is this Temprid FX. And this is made by Bayer. This is what worked for me. Now it says you spray it once and then you wait 3 months to retreat, right? Well, I sprayed and it worked. It killed everything and I couldn't get rid of them. And I had been trying all this stuff from Lowe's and Home Depot. It didn't work at all. I even saw them like crawling through the poison and they wouldn't die. It was crazy. This stuff works. Now, I didn't do it every 3 months. I did it like every few weeks for it to be effective and it got rid of the problem. So this stuff is great. Now, I researched what professionals use because I've been using exterminators for many years. And basically I call them up, I tell them I got this going on, whatever. They come out for like 20 minutes, depending on the problem. You know, they're very valuable resource, exterminators, of course. You know, they're very valuable. Especially if you don't want to crawl under your house or deal with rats and stuff like that. Who wants to deal with that stuff, right? But I'm a manager and I run a lot of units and sometimes the costs start getting kind of high. Where I live, they're about $150 and sometimes they come out for 20 minutes and they spray. Now, these poisons are expensive, but they're actually cheaper than the stuff you buy in the market. So something like this Transport, you use about 1 ounce and you mix it with 1 gallon of water. So this bottle here costs about $90 and you can make 25 gallons, okay? So $90 for 25 gallons. If I were to use the store-bought stuff for 10 bucks, 25 gallons, it cost me $250. So 90 compared to 250, well, you know, it's almost 1/3 of the price and it's for sure gonna work. You're not gonna keep having to do it over and over. So consider that also opportunity cost at PIA factor. PIA is pain in the, you know what. If you have to go back and keep doing it over and over, it's not fun. You're exposing yourself to chemicals. And then if you have tenants or you have a family or yourself, I mean, it's annoying to keep running into rats or mice or roaches or bed bugs. You don't want to deal with that. Nobody likes that stuff. So, you know, I love animals. I'm vegetarian, but I don't want to live with insects or rats or anything like that in my house. So I'm okay with using poisons. I want to get rid of them. I don't like them. So what are you going to use? You're going to get this stuff. You just need 3 things. A good pair of gloves, plain and simple. The poison and a sprayer. The sprayer, you use this for everything, okay? It's a 1-gallon sprayer. You're gonna get, and all these have the directions on them, but basically they're all about the same. 1 ounce, you pour it into the empty bottle, you fill it up with water. For bed bugs, you go into the room, you spray all around, all the cracks, everything else. You wash all the linens in hot water, dry everything, then you pull them out, put them in plastic bags, make sure they don't get reinfected. This stuff is really good. And then make sure you cover all the holes in the room. Like if there's holes in the floorboards, you know where the molding is, I get silicone and I fill all that in, because they'll crawl into all the crevices, and that's where they'll lay their eggs of bed bugs. So that's the most effective way to get them. So there's basically 2 types of poisons. There's repellent and non-repellent. So non-repellent is not gonna scare the insects away. They're gonna basically walk right through it and they're not gonna know. They're gonna get poison in their body, they're gonna go back to their nest, they're gonna infect all the other insects, and it's gonna kill everybody. So that's what you want. A lot of these insects are congregate or social, like ants, roaches, bed bugs. They like to hang out with their family and their friends. So you want to make sure they take that stuff back. So that's just a side point. Now, repellent is going to be something they're going to crawl into and they're just going to die. It's going to kill them as they cross into it. And that's not really what you want when they're insects that congregate. You want them to get the poison, go back and wipe everybody else out. And that's usually most of the insects are going to go into your house. So what's the best one to use? This stuff, Transport. It's made by FMC. It's called Transport Micron. This is what the pros use. You basically pour 1 ounce into here. You just go like that so you can fill it up. And you pour it into the sprayer bottle, fill it up with water, and this stuff dries clear. So let me show you what I did in my kitchen. So when you're getting ready to spray for the roaches and the other insects in your kitchen, you want to make sure you clean the cabinets out. So I had noticed some roaches and stuff in this cabinet here. So I cleaned out the whole thing, and now I'm going to wipe everything down. And I noticed they go a lot in the hinges. So roaches, German roaches, all these different roaches, they like to be in little crevices. So these are the places where you want to focus on when you're spraying, and you want to take it off and clean it. And then their favorite place is behind refrigerators. So I'll be removing this refrigerator in a moment to clean it, and there will definitely be some roaches there. And then the other place is behind the stove, because you know there's always like crumbs and things that fall behind there. So you'll see a lot of droppings and stuff under there. You want to make sure that you clean all those places, and those are the places that you spray, because that's where they're going to be collecting a lot. So look at all those. Once you empty out your cabinets, you can spray this stuff and it dries clear. What's the best time to use all these poisons? When people aren't going to be around, or pets or children or stuff like that. So if you're all leaving for work in the morning, do it in the morning and it has the whole day to dry. Okay? If you're going to be spraying outside, I'm going to show you some other poisons you're going to be using outside. You want to do those early in the morning, or I like to do it at dusk, like at night. So it has the whole night to kind of soak in, and so the insects can run through it all night. Because remember, they are more active at night. So you want them running through it and taking it back to their, you know, wherever they live. Now the sun breaks everything down, radiation. So even though it's not supposed to be, it does. The sun breaks down everything. So you never want to spray any of this stuff in the middle of the day, unless it's indoors, of course, because sunlight's not going to affect it. Even my mouse traps, my rat traps, I put them in the shade along the sides of the houses. I don't put them where the sun's going to hit them. I don't want the sun to dry out the rat poison or the mouse poison and get rid of the odor. If you want that odor, you can attract the rodent. So again, Transport Micron is a non-repellent, okay? So this means that insects, bed bugs, cockroaches, they're gonna crawl right through this. They're gonna take it back, they're gonna wipe out the other insects. Again, it dries clear. This is for inside. So you're gonna go inside of your house, you're gonna spray it in the corners, wherever there's cracks, crevices. You know, if you have stuff like that, you should probably cover it with silicone. Just because it's easier, there's less places where the insects could go in and lay eggs. But you're gonna spray this all along the floorboards, especially in the kitchen. Make sure you get behind the refrigerator, behind the stove, underneath the sink, inside the cabinets, anywhere where there's entry points for pipes into the house, you wanna spray this stuff. Very effective. Now, if you have a really bad problem, then you wanna buy this stuff. It's called Gentrol. This is an insect growth regulator. Now this is gonna last a few months killing insects, but this is for really severe cases. Now this stuff is not gonna kill the adults, but you're gonna put 1 ounce of this in the water, and this Gentrol is going to basically kill all the larvae, the eggs. It's gonna sterilize all the adult roaches, because you know a lot of problems that I have are with roaches. A problem in apartments or houses. I want to get rid of roaches. This is for really severe problems. This is for indoor use. Now this one's a little more costly, but again, it's very effective. This is gonna, if you have like a long-term problem, and all these are pretty broad spectrum. They treat a lot of different insects. I'm just talking about the most common ones you're gonna run into. But this Gentrol is about $100 for a pint. But again, this is gonna make a lot because it dilutes. You know, so you could probably make about, again, maybe like 20-25 gallons of poison with this. And you want to mix it with this guy only because you want to make sure you kill what's active, right? But again, if you just use this one 90% of the time, this is good enough to transport. This is just an extra one. And just to be clear, you can probably do everything just with 2. You only need Talstar, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. This is for outside, and Transport for the inside. That's it. If you want to get the IGR, the Gentrol for the inside, for like if you have some place where a hoarder lived or something that's like really crazy, sure. You don't really have to get the temperate effect for the bed bugs as long as you get this one. But I like the temperate. I've used it. It's very effective. So I use it when I've had bed bugs. And in fact, I had it in the place I'm at here, and it was like 3 years ago. And in my mom's house, it took me 3 years just to get rid of them. So I'll swear by it. Now you can find all these on eBay, Amazon, whatever. You'll look online, you'll watch YouTube videos, you'll see professionals talking about how to use them. There's lots of information, but you can find them all on one website called domyown.com. And of course, wherever you find the best price, I usually end up buying them on eBay. That seems to be the cheapest place to find them. And then there's this stuff, Talstar. Now this stuff is great. It's for outdoor use, and I bought the 1 gallon. So you can imagine if you use 1 ounce, how long this is gonna last me. This goes a long ways, okay? Now, this stuff dries with color. It leaves like a residue. Otherwise, you could use this and that's it. You could use it indoor, outdoor, everywhere. Now, you know, you don't really want to have residue in your house, especially if you have people there and all that stuff. Not real good, but you could theoretically use this only for everything. Now this one's actually the most cost effective. This Talstar is only $52 for a gallon. And remember, I said you could mix it up, so you could probably make like 100 gallons of poison with this stuff, if not more. It goes a long way. So you're thinking, wow, I don't want to spend 50 bucks, but when you think about it, this is 10 bucks. So you'd only, with the cost, with this, you can only, with 50 bucks, you can only buy 5 gallons worth of this. This one you could probably make like 200. So it goes a long ways, and you can keep treating every 3 months. Now the way you use this stuff, the same as all of them. You put 1 ounce into the sprayer, fill it up with water, walk around the outside of the property, and you're gonna spray 2 feet up the wall and 2 feet off from the wall. The reason why you want it to soak into the dirt, and it leaves these little droplets that the insects are gonna walk through. I've actually seen roaches crawling outside the buildings at night. At night, they start crawling all over. We got roaches here from a lady's next door that was a hoarder and just had a complete mess. You know, we kept helping her clean her house, and no matter what, she's just a mess, and she was spreading rodents. Now, I live in the city of Los Angeles. You know, I'm very clean, my room's clean, the house, bathroom, kitchen, everything, but it's a big city. It's overpopulated. So, you know, don't feel like you're dirty or something. I've had tenants that are real ashamed. They go, oh man, I got roaches, I'm so embarrassed. Please don't tell anybody. Well, I'm not gonna tell anybody because it's not that big of a deal, but you know, it happens. And a lot of times it could be a neighbor that's like 2-3 houses down that's like dirty, that has bed bugs. You know, bed bugs can travel 100 feet or more at night. They can leave the house and actually walk into the next property. So you can get bed bugs, roaches, rats, mice from your neighbors. Most of the time that's where they're coming from. You know, they're coming from one of your neighbors. So this stuff is good for preventative, the Talstar. 2 feet up the wall, 2 feet on the floor, all the way around the building. You want to spray in the corners, you want to spray in any openings like where pipes go in, gas pipes, HVAC pipes, ducts, anything like that. Anywhere where there might be little tiny crevices, that's where roaches are going to get in. So you want to spray all that stuff. You have a porch, you want to spray in all the corners. You want to spray all around this stuff, and it's going to dry. You probably won't even notice it outside. Actually, I don't notice it, but if you spray it inside, you will see kind of like a milky. So I don't recommend it for indoor use. Now, what about the cost? You know, you might say, hey, well, you know, this stuff's kind of expensive. It's 50 bucks, other one's 100 bucks. Yeah, the upfront cost is a little bit more, but the overall cost is maybe 5% or less of the total cost. If you're buying cans of Raid every week for 5 bucks, you know how much it costs. And then you're spreading that poison around your house, your apartment. It's toxic, it's not real good for your health, so you don't want that. This stuff dries, and it's made specifically for professionals to use. And if you put it in the right spots, you're not going to have any contact with it. So it's not going to have the same effect on you versus you spraying Raid and breathe it into your lungs and stuff. Not good. So I totally recommend these. So I hope that helps. And from Los Angeles, California, this is Dr. Ernesto. And again, here are my two favorites, Transport and Transtar. And you can find these on Amazon, eBay, and this company is based in Philadelphia here in the United States, and this stuff is world class. It's the best. So stop wasting your money buying all this junk at Home Depot or wherever. You know, take care of the problems. You don't have to keep having roaches crawling through your food and all that stuff. I've lived it. It's horrible. That's the reason why I wanted to make this video, to help you folks out. Thanks again. Goodbye.